Hey guys, Daddy here. Just want to start as always by saying thank you for taking interest in my channel, and I really hope the content I provide is useful for you. If it is, I'd really appreciate it if you guys hit that like and subscribe button so I can continue to grow and provide more quality content. Also, if you really enjoy the content, you might even consider buying me a coffee, and the information for that will be in a link in the video description. So now let's move on to the topic of today, and this is going to be part 3 in our home lab server setup, and today we're going to be actually racking the server. So we're going to put the Dell PowerEdge R720 in the rack along with all the other hardware or peripheral hardware that's going to be supporting it. So without further ado, let's hop off, and I'm going to hop over to the other camera and we'll get started. Alrighty guys, so right now we're looking at the rack we built in the previous video. That would have been part 1. This is part 2. I know in the intro I said part 3, but we're starting from part 0. It's just a weird habit of mine, I guess, from programming. But anyway, this is part 2, the 3rd video in the series. And anyway, we're going to start with this blank rack that we built in the previous video, and we're going to start adding all of our goodies to it. So just take a look and see what we're going to add today. So here are the rails for the server. So that's what we're going to do first. Then we're probably going to add this power bank here, or the power bank and surge protector that's rackable. This is just another SAS HHD that we're going to put in the server. I went today to buy some shelves from Home Depot, which we're going to use to basically put on top as kind of like, just make it kind of like a countertop or some place where you can set things just for convenience. So it's just something I thought would be a nice way to put a cheap shelf on top, basically. So we'll do that. And then some of our other hardware hasn't come in yet, but we'll find a place to put the switch. Yeah, we'll go from there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the rails, there we go. We're going to go ahead and put the rails on our rack. So basically, these are adjustable, so this can be moved in and out depending on how big our rack is, which is pretty nice. And then each of these goes out and allows the server to kind of slide in clips and then be pushed into these rails or into the rack. So this helps secure the server. So I'll try to show broadly how to put it on, and then I'll show you exactly how it clips in more detail in just a second. So another thing to note, so on these rails it'll say right front. So it tells you where this is supposed to go in the rack itself. So the right front is going to go on this side. And I'm going to start at the bottom just for the most, I guess, stability and convenience for me. So I'm going to come through, put these 2 points into the very bottom 2 units, push until it clicks. There you go, that's secure. Alright. We're going to do the same thing in the back on the bottom 2 units until you hear it click. And now that's secure. And you can see that the rails will slide out like this. And then you can push these clips to slide them back in. And then if you want to remove these rails or put them somewhere else, there's a blue tab in the front you can pull and the rail will pop out. So to show you guys in more detail. That's the blue tab I was talking about. So if you pull this, these will pop out. But for me, I just want to rack it in that first spot there. There we go. Cool. And that's what it should look like here. Those 2 pins fit in the little square brackets here. And the same thing in the back. So cool. Now we've got that going. I'm gonna go ahead and put the other rack on, or the other rail on the rack, excuse me. So this is left front, facing out. And the rest gonna stay here. There we go. Okay, that's in. That's in. Boom. Nice. Nice. There we go. There we go. Actually, I don't think this is in the back. There we go. Okay, excellent. So, now we've got our rails installed. We are going to work on setting up the power unit, or power PDU, power distribution unit. So I'm gonna go grab that and start putting that on. Alright, you guys, next thing we're gonna install here is the power distribution unit. And we're gonna put it, just for convenience sake, I'm gonna put it in the back of the rack, so not here on the front, but in the back. That's just because I think it might look better to have, or be able to tie this into the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoot this forward so we can see a little bit better. But before I actually put it on, these guys are called cage nuts, and they actually sit in the square brackets and allow us to screw into or hold things in place on those square brackets. Let's put all these guys on first. That way I can get to everything. And just to show you guys a little bit better, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to put one of them on. But, so these back clips are going to sit right in there. And then you can, I don't know if I can get enough force on it, but push them up in and they will eventually snap in place, just like that. And I'll pop the last one over here. There we go. So there we go. So you can see two there, two there. And we're just gonna go ahead and screw the PDU. Okay. So now, I'm gonna go ahead and screw this guy in. Okay, and there we have it. PDU is installed. I'm just gonna tighten it up real quick. All right, guys. Now's the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to actually rack the server. So I've got the server excuse me, sitting right over there. And the idea is we want those 4 metal pieces, or metal eyelets, are gonna fit in these guys. So we're gonna take it all the way out, and they're gonna fit in these little grooves right here. And at first I was pretty confused, but it looks like that picture is pretty clear. The idea is the server is supposed to just sit and fall in those grooves, and then you can slide it on the rack back in slide it back on the rails back into the rack. So that's what we're gonna try to do. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it a go. Before I start, I'm gonna pull the other rack out. Hopefully you guys will be able to see. Unfortunately, since there's only one of me, it's gonna be a little bit tricky to let you guys see while I put it in, especially because the server is pretty heavy. But I'll do my best to let you guys watch. So I see one. Okay, one's in. Okay. Okay. Damn. Did not expect that to go like that so easily. Okay. So there we go. The server is now racked. Well, it's now sitting in the rails at least. So basically, those little spots on the side, and so I guess circular brackets are sitting inside these little cutouts. And there's another one right there. And these have little locking mechanisms. So I'm sure once I push that in, that'll actually lock it. So before it sits out here on these rails too long, I'm gonna go ahead and push it all the way in. Oh, gotta push the metal clips on the side. One more. So when you're putting it in, you gotta push these little metal clips so they'll actually go in. Okay, so one, cool. Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, now I heard it click. Okay, so this is what it looks like fully wrapped. All right, so some other things to note. There's actually a little clip that sticks out on either side that locks the server into the rack. So if you want to release it, press this lever up and this lever up. There we go. And then the server should slide out of the rack. And you can see that little pin right there. And then to put it back, put this up really quick. You can just push it forcefully back in. Make sure that it's clipped in on the sides. And then if you try to pull it out, it should not go anywhere. So there we go. That's the server racked. And in each of these slots is a slot for an HDD or SSD or whatever kind of storage that you want. So this is something I actually haven't checked out yet. But when I bought it, it said it only came with one 4 terabyte SAS HHD. However, if you look, that's one 4 terabyte. Let's just make sure. Yep, 4 terabyte. There we go. Let's put that guy back in there. Okay, let's check out what's inside these other guys. All right, it's another 4 terabyte. Okay. Wow, I guess all these are 4 terabytes, so that's awesome. So I originally was only thinking I was gonna have 8 terabytes worth of storage, but now I actually have, well, I guess it came with 16 terabytes, and I bought an additional 8 terabytes. So now I have 24 terabytes worth of storage. So that's fantastic. So while we're down here, let's go ahead and add the last HHD. That way we can go ahead and get everything complete. So here we go. Here's the last one. And pop that guy in there. Boom. Okay, so there we have it. 4 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 4 terabytes. 4 times 6 is 24, so 24 total terabytes of storage. And then room for a little bit more eventually. So that's pretty cool. So the last thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to build a shelf, or basically a countertop kind of situation up here. So I bought just some kind of cheap shelving from Lowe's earlier today, and we're gonna go ahead and just fix it up here to the top. So I'm gonna go get that ready, so I'll be right back. All right, guys, now it's time to kind of put on our top shelf. And again, here are the 2 cheap pieces of shelving I bought from Lowe's. You can see it's just basically what normally you'd use for floating shelves, just 1/2 inch laminated shelving. I got them for about $10 a piece, I think. And then I got numbered 10 1/2 inch screws. I know it says sheet metal, but in this case it really doesn't matter. I just needed something with a fat enough head to catch the, to actually catch the fairly large eyes and the holes in the top. So basically catch these guys. So this should, let's do a double check here. So I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. But yep, see, there we go. That'll work. So the idea is just to use those to sit on top of this and provide kind of a shelf. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. Start fixing that. All right, guys, and that is pretty much the finished project. This actually turned out really nice. It was pretty much exactly the right length. So I'm really happy with that. Server racked up really nice. Have a lot of room for other stuff. You know, if I ever add more. So I'm super excited about this. Okay guys, got two more things to figure out. One is setting or installing the power supplies for the Dell PowerEdge R720, and then also figuring out a place to put the switch. So let's take a look first at the power supplies. So here we have two Dell 80 Plus Platinum 1100 watt power supplies. So these sit in the back of the PowerEdge. So these guys go right there and there. So I'll push this up and then I will show you how to install them. There we go. So here are two power supplies. All right. There we go. One's in. And then there we go. Two is in. So there we go. There's our power supplies. And I noticed that the power supplies didn't ship with an actual power cord, so I'll have to buy that separately. And I'll put a link to that in the video description as well. And then next we have our 5-port Gigabit switch here. And I think for now, I'm literally just going to set all of the auxiliary things, since I really don't have that many, just on top of the server here. So it's like that, and then I run the power cord up to here. But it's not great, but for now that's what I think I'm gonna do. Eventually I'm gonna get an actual shelf to put in there, and I'll set all the network equipment on that. But for now this works fine, especially since I only have one server around. Okay guys, to summarize and wrap up today, we took our built rack from last time and we racked a server, added some auxiliary equipment, and made a nice countertop shelf on top of the rack. One thing I didn't actually go over while I was setting up or while I was racking everything in the other room was the grounding. So I actually went through the entire Dell PowerEdge R720 owner's manual and looked at how to properly ground the server. There wasn't anything explicit in there about it. I read several forums, and basically I've come to the conclusion that unless you are in a real data center where you have airflow that can cause, basically certain ionization or like free-floating static electricity that might build up in your data center, it doesn't really seem like grounding is a huge issue. So I'm going to choose to not ground my server. So that's just a personal choice. But for anybody out there that may have some more knowledge on this, please leave something in the comments if there's an easy way or a way that I can do it, or if it's really important or not important. I'd really like to know, because I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information on it. So anyway, guys, that's how I'm going to leave it. I'm just really not going to ground it. Didn't seem like it was that big of an issue, so I'm not going to worry about it. So that's it for part 2. The next phase, hopefully when I get the rest of the equipment in, we'll actually get the power cords, fire up the server, actually start setting the server up. Hopefully the wireless bridge will come in soon. We can start setting that up in a later video. So stay tuned, and we'll get those things rolling here pretty quick. Anyway, again, guys, if you enjoyed the content today, please consider giving me a like and a subscribe so I can continue to grow and produce better and better content for you. If you really like the content, you might even consider buying me a coffee, and the instructions on how to do that will be in the video description. And also, guys, please give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know how I'm doing. If anything's unclear or there's stuff I can improve on. But above all, guys, thanks, and have a great rest of the day.